the Urban Rotterdam project. How do young people successfully grow up in an increasingly complex society? Today's society is more complex than ever, due to intense globalization and advanced digital technology. The next generation of adolescents also has to navigate the consequences of multiple crises, such as the climate crisis and the COVID-19 pandemic. With the outbreak of the pandemic, adolescents experienced significant changes in their social environment and unpredictable challenges that come along with this pandemic. It is important to investigate how adolescents deal with such challenges. In the Urban Rotterdam project, we study individual differences in developmental trajectories among youth in Rotterdam and surrounding areas, not only during the pandemic, but also during post-pandemic times. At the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was interested in the personal experiences of adolescents and young adults. How did challenges such as the uncertainty or the social restrictions impact their daily lives? How does this differ between young individuals? And what do they need to optimally cope with the challenges? So, together with the research team, I wanted to reach out and invite as many adolescents and young adults as possible, because their voices matter. The central goal of this behavioral longitudinal study is to discover how the social environment in which one grows up, such as their home environment, interacts with individual characteristics on developmental outcomes, such as mental well-being, pro-social actions, broader contributing to society, and feeling empowered. The Urban Rotterdam project is an online longitudinal behavioral survey study. And in this study, we invited adolescents and young adults between ages 10 to 25 living in Rotterdam and surrounding areas. Here, we aimed for high variation in socio-economic background. For example, our final sample involves participants from all education levels and from multiple ethnic backgrounds. This project started during the COVID-19 pandemic, but recruitment continues at each wave. The study started in May 2020 by asking participants to complete a 2-week daily diary study consisting of online self-report measures. And since then, participants have been followed up each 6 months. And as such, we have a rich assessment across multiple time points. At each time point, we measure well-being, self-oriented and pro-social behavior using experimental tasks and questionnaires. And this allows us to examine the emotional and social consequences of the social environment and changes in society, and how this in turn may influence the well-being of adolescents and young adults. Although the impact of COVID-19 on youth has been one of our research questions, this project is set up to continue the following years, allowing us to examine the aftermath of the pandemic, but also the impact of other crises such as the climate crisis and developmental outcomes in the years after. Because the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic may differ depending on an individual's daily life, such as school or work, we include different samples in this longitudinal study. We not only invited high school students from Rotterdam and surrounding areas, but we also invited young adults in higher education, such as Erasmus University Rotterdam students. We discovered so far that the COVID-19 pandemic had negative effects on mood and vigor, but also resulted in more kindness and helping behavior, specifically in adolescents. But the question remains how the COVID-19 pandemic may impact adolescents over a longer period of time, as this is an important developmental period for exploring the world and developing one's identity. Of course, we'd love to share the results with you. Interested in collaborating on the Urban Rotterdam projects or using the data? Please reach out. You can find the link to the metadata file describing all our measures here. This study was performed with a team of PhD students, postdocs, research assistants, and collaborators.